Initially, Joy Behar never planned to ignite a televised clash with longtime colleague Sunny Hostin, but one surprising genealogical discovery triggered a public reckoning. On The View, Sunny learned her third great-grandfather had owned slaves, an unsettling fact for someone routinely vocal about systemic racism. Initially shocked, Sunny hesitated to condemn her ancestor with the same fervor she reserved for others. This perceived hypocrisy ignited criticism from Greg Gutfeld of Fox News, who mocked her response. Meanwhile, Melania Trump pursued a lawsuit allegedly linked to remarks on The View. Thus began a viral storm that tested personal convictions and professional boundaries. Subsequently, months before, The View had tackled contentious topics surrounding race. Sunny's steadfast condemnation of Confederate monuments and racial injustices earned admiration, though some found her methods abrasive. When Finding Your Roots exposed her ancestors' slaveholding past, observers expected a swift denunciation. Instead, Sunny briefly chalked it up to the era, provoking outrage. Even longtime fans questioned her reluctance to apply her usual moral rigor, while conservative pundits pounced on her inconsistent reaction. Almost at once, Melania Trump's defamation suit loomed in headlines, with commentators blending both stories into a dramatic saga about hypocrisy and accountability. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, ABC executives fretted that Sunny's genealogical bombshell, plus Melania's legal threats, could alienate advertisers. Greg Gutfeld amplified the uproar, criticizing Sunny for hypocrisy and praising Melania for defending her reputation. This narrative of one woman sidestepping accountability while another took forceful legal action fueled online debates. As the controversy ballooned, Sunny hinted on-air that Joy's jabs had drawn Melania into the fray. Production staff grew alarmed. They relied on friction for ratings, but feared a rift this personal might disrupt The View's delicate balance. Afterward, the clash erupted during a casual on-air segment about lawsuits involving public figures. Sunny alluded to co-hosts who kept pushing certain narratives, effectively handing Melania Trump ammunition for a costly lawsuit. The studio fell silent as Joy arched her eyebrows, visibly irked by the suggestion. Known for humor, Joy this time stayed composed and asked Sunny to clarify. Sunny doubled down, blaming incessant speculation for fueling massive legal claims. This crossed a boundary. Joy felt targeted for commentary she considered harmless. The live audience sensed a dangerous shift from playful banter to pointed accusation. Confronted, Joy dispensed with levity and demanded to know why Sunny would pin Melania's lawsuit on her jokes or analyses. She reminded viewers that Sunny regularly condemned racism in public figures, insisting those who overlooked wrongdoing were complicit. Yet Sunny had seemed unwilling to condemn her own ancestors' slaveholding with the same fervor. Joy underscored that the real trigger was Sunny's Finding Your Roots episode, not Joy's comedic digs. Viewers watched Sunny visibly flinch under this challenge. Social media captured the moment, fueling hashtags that praised Joy for addressing hypocrisy or blasted her for attacking a colleague on live TV. Likewise, Greg Gutfeld seized on the footage, replaying Joy's takedown while highlighting Sunny's perceived moral double standard. Conservative pundits asked if Sunny would apologize or risk her job. ABC rushed into damage control, fearing Melania's lawyers might try to rope The View's segments into the suit. Some fans empathized with Sunny's shock over a disturbing ancestral past, but believed her fleeting dismissal ran counter to her outspoken persona. Others felt Joy's blunt confrontation was overdue, calling it a reality check. In either case, the incident dominated daytime TV chatter, overshadowing other View segments. Thereafter, Joy and Sunny resumed co-hosting, but tension simmered. Ratings climbed as curious viewers tuned in to gauge interactions. Media critics published analyses on hypocrisy, authenticity, and whether Joy's public rebuke was necessary or cruel. Rumors circulated about ABC meeting with the hosts to preserve unity, worried the discord might harm the show's brand. Official press statements lauded the importance of spirited debate, yet staff whispered that both Sunny's ancestry controversy and Melania's lawsuit threatened to spiral beyond control. In addition, production teams wrestled with the possibility that Melania's attorneys would comb through episodes for defamation evidence, intensifying ABC's caution. Greg Gutfeld kept contrasting Sunny's perceived evasion with Melania's proactive legal stance. Conservative commentary reframed Sunny's ancestry reveal as evidence of double standards. Even some of Sunny's supporters admitted the incident raised hard questions about moral consistency, especially for someone so vocal about holding others accountable. Meanwhile, Joy refused to regret challenging Sunny, though she recognized the network's unease over unpredictable, high-stakes confrontations. Hence, social media went wild with memes featuring Joy's confrontational expressions and Sunny's stunned silence. While some viewers found gallows humor in the spectacle, others reminded critics that discovering a slave-holding ancestor could be deeply traumatic. Yet these calls for empathy drowned under a louder outcry. A self-professed moral crusader was letting her own family's misdeeds slide while blaming a co-host for provoking litigation. The online wildfire rekindled each time The View aired. Cable news picked up every development, from Sunny's anxious on-screen demeanor to Joy's barbed asides about hypocrisy. Despite that, The View forged ahead with new topics, yet any mention of race or lawsuits carried subtext. Whenever Sunny criticized systemic injustices, the specter of her family's slaveholding surfaced on social platforms. Joy appeared cordial, but still slipped pointed remarks about accountability. Fans debated if these digs were aimed at Sunny. Producers insisted friction was part of the show's appeal, but insiders confirmed real strain between the co-hosts, especially concerning the notion that Joy's commentary could be tied to a $100 million suit from a former First Lady. Gradually, Sunny addressed the debacle in interviews, admitting she was caught off guard by her ancestors' history. She regretted her initial reaction, but stopped short of a complete apology. Many critics remained unsatisfied, saying her brand of holding others to strict moral standards demanded a fiercer personal reckoning. Meanwhile, Joy doubled down in her own interviews, arguing that if Sunny wanted to call out racism wherever it existed, she couldn't flinch when the mirror turned toward her own lineage. Though they continued hosting side by side, a noticeable wariness lingered whenever controversial topics arose. Simultaneously, Melania's lawsuit hovered like a dark cloud. Rumors suggested her lawyers were actively investigating whether on-air remarks might bolster defamation claims, yet no concrete expansion of the suit emerged. Even so, ABC's legal department warned the hosts to tread carefully. Joy's comedic style tempered somewhat, and Sunny chose her words about powerful figures with caution. Still, the show's dynamic had changed. Spontaneous banter felt riskier, given the threat of ballooning legal fees and the possibility of intensifying the genealogical controversy. Moreover, the drama produced a ratings uptick, with cynics alleging the confrontation was staged for publicity. ABC denied this, pointing out the genuine raw tension. Nonetheless, producers recognized a key takeaway. In daytime talk, if you demand accountability from guests and public figures, you must apply equal scrutiny to the hosts themselves. Joy's fiery critique, while shocking, underscored that no one is exempt from the same moral framework. The episode highlighted the perils of off-the-cuff commentary in an era where legal suits loom and personal revelations can go viral within seconds. Ultimately, producers sought to calm the storm without sweeping the conflict under the rug. Joy occasionally revisited the theme of hypocrisy, prompting speculation she was subtly directing remarks at Sunny. Sunny refocused on broader advocacy, carefully sidestepping further discussion of her family's past. Melania's lawsuit lingered in the background, though it never dominated the news cycle the same way again. The View, meanwhile, basked in higher ratings from curious viewers drawn to the friction. Despite discomfort among some staff, the show marched on, shaped by this collision of personal discovery and public confrontation. Eventually, Sunny acknowledged she'd initially minimized her ancestors' actions out of shock, reiterating that people need time to process revelations of complicity in atrocities like slavery. She stressed her continued commitment to spotlighting racial injustices. Joy, for her part, insisted that failing to condemn all forms of racism equally undermines credibility. Observers noted the tension was unlikely to vanish. The two women maintained a working relationship, but seemed cooler off-camera. Even so, ABC insisted the hosts still respected each other's convictions, albeit through a lens newly focused on personal accountability. Finally, the clash became emblematic of the uncomfortable reality that no one, including prominent advocates, escapes the messier facets of history. Joy's on-air takedown illustrated how personal vulnerabilities can be exposed without warning, especially in a format celebrated for unfiltered dialogue. The moment spurred reflection on how comedic commentary can escalate into a major crisis if it intersects with a co-host's hidden past and a former First Lady's lawsuit. Though the immediate flames died down, the uproar left its mark on daytime TV, a reminder that strong personalities and unexpected revelations can reshape public conversation in an instant. Viewers learned that while championing social justice offers moral clarity, it can also invite harsh scrutiny when one's own house is not fully in order. The reverberations continued to color Joy and Sunny's dynamic, casting a long shadow over the view's future debates and cautioning everyone involved that no topic, genealogical or otherwise, remains purely personal once discussed before millions of eyes.